A very good morning to one and all present here. Today I, Mane Gangwar, will present my views against the motion. Though the idea of providing free education seems to be very pleasing to us when we listen to it, but we must not forget the very fact that there is no thing as free education. What might be free for one is burden for another. Though I am in favor of the motion that the underprivileged sections of society, the students who do not have the money to go to school, should be provided with free education, but the people who can afford it should not be provided with such education at all. The reason being because these funds that are being given for free education will be wasted on students who can otherwise afford it. And whenever we talk about free education, the example of Germany definitely crosses our mind, as it's one of those countries that has provided free education in all the aspects. But then I ask you, how has Germany done this? They increased their taxes, which is why the funds were increased, and hence they were enabled to provide even more free education to the people. But if this is done in developing and underdeveloped nations, the people, the working class who are paying the taxes, denied. The people who are paying the taxes will go even in more debt. So developing and underdeveloped nations, providing free education is not the primary issue. They need to develop in resources and they need to provide health for the people. Other than that, we can see that in Africa people are dying every day. They are not having food and shelter. Free education is not the primary issue for them. They need to address other issues. They need to make the children aware. A 7-hour class of complicated maths won't teach them how to deal with their everyday problems. Yes.
To start with your first issue of taxes, one of the largest tax collectors in this world happens to be in the post-Soviet world of Europe. They collect large taxes today and they do not provide free education. So why do you think that it can only be achieved due to high taxes? And the second question that I would like to ask you is the equality factor that you are taking out. In countries like Scandinavia, the education has proven to be immensely successful because it introduces a sense of equality in the classrooms. If you do not get everyone to go to the same schools, that is the basic way in which you are ruining the students' basic perception of equality.
Thank you, sir. I'll be answering that. So first of all, I'm in favor of the motion that the people who cannot afford the education should be provided with this education. And I never mentioned the fact that the educated and uneducated should not be in the same class. I did not mention that. And apart from that, the European countries that have the high taxes, they're the ones who've been able to provide the free education. Moving on to my speech. My friends, though we keep mentioning the fact that educated citizens lead to better future for the nation, we must not forget that literacy is not the only cause that results for a better future. What we need today is not a literate population, we need an educated population, which can only be created when we have great educational preferences. And that will only happen when the government provides good services. In India, like my opponent just mentioned, the midday meal scheme. I will say that many students enrolled in school because of the midday meal scheme, but the facilities were so degraded that this meal provided was contagious for the students to even eat. And other than that, we need to remember the fact that a lot of funds will be wasted and the countries cannot yet have the funds to sponsor them.
Information.
Yes.
Okay. A large number of countries, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, spend extensively on military instead of spending on education. So by wasting funds, how are we wasting funds on education? There are other ways that the government really ends up wasting funds.
First of all, investing in military is not wasting the funds, and nor I'm saying that investing in education is wasting the funds. They're not wasting it. But just investing in education is not going to result in a population that is going to be good for us. Like I'll give you the example of a country that has provided a lot of funds in the education field, but then the percentage, the gap between the literate and the employed is this gap is large. By making the people literate, we cannot say that the population will be advanced and will be thinking better. Hence, ending my assertion, I would say that people who cannot afford the education should be provided with it. Thank you.